All right. Let's go. Interview season is back, and G43 is back. Our most reoccurring guest. He is a global hoopster, the Smucker Smack talker, the OBL extraordinaire, the checkup star, the YouTube sensation. He's back for another interview on the Mickey Zizzy podcast, our proud partner of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant Anderson, welcome back.
Hey, third time. I didn't realize that until you mentioned it, but pretty impressive. We got on here 3 times.
Yerp,
Shows
and
the growth of both platforms.
of course, and that's what we're doing here. And I mean, your views have been going up and up. It's awesome. I mean, you're doing everything. So like, tell us the latest about G43.
Well, the latest is actually a sad story. I'm injured.
I saw that today, and I'm like, dang, I'm really gonna interview this man. Like,
it's honestly perfect timing. The story is really cool, so I will share that with you.
sweet.
Um, I have found myself in a really cool environment here in Chicago where I'm getting invited to a lot of the really good open runs, NBA players, pro
Wow.
players, very active guys. So I've found my way in there, and it's Jabari Parker is one of the main players in that run.
That's
So
so
I've played against and around Jabari a couple times. So like we're tight. Like he'll hit me up to come play. He doesn't always do it directly, but he has like a couple guys to help organize his runs or his open sets. So I went in, and being a taller guy, I usually have to guard him. And today we were having a good day, and his team had lost a couple games, and he just needed to go get a basket, which he does with ease with us regular guys. And he went hard to the rim, and I like to put like a hand out on defense, and it kind of got caught against his chest and got caught and like sent all the way backwards. And that's a large man. And he moved my finger like it was a French fry, and now I have a sprained thumb. So got injured, out a couple weeks, back into it probably in July, but cool story nonetheless.
so you got hurt from Jabari Parker.
Yeah, an NBA player essentially broke my thumb, but no one else can break it. Just NBA quality players can break my thumb because it's never happened before.
That's a nice stat. I love it. That's actually a crazy story. Thanks for sharing it. Shooting hand.
No, left hand,
Hey,
thankfully.
that's good. I mean,
But
look at the glass.
the crazy thing was I actually sprained this thumb too on Sunday trying to sit on a foam roller. So I don't know if that's an age thing or just a weird, a weird. My body telling me to take a break. Let's call it that.
There you go. You said it's a sprain, thumb broke, but a nice time for you to reflect, kind of rest, kind of look at it, figure out the next things for G43 for the YouTube channel. But also, it's a great story too. Like, yeah, my thumb was broken because of Jabari Parker. Like, that's a cool story you want to go tell people. Not that you fell
It
down the
definitely is. I try to be like nice about it because I don't want to like put any like blame. It was complete just accident, but it definitely was due to his very strong pectoral muscles, I guess.
from a big dude, is what you're telling me. He just jumps.
6'8", highly athletic, freak athlete, every bit as good as advertised.
And a real quick side story. It's funny because a lot of people's like, "Oh, I could beat the scrub of the NBA," but like any of those NBA
Scrub.
players, there's a reason why they're
Yeah, I
in
know.
the league, and they'll go run up any court and they'll drop 40. I saw the Trey Young, like people are talking trash to Trey Young in a video.
Oh my God.
Like, why would you poke the bear? Like,
That's we had Taylor Horton Tucker in the open gym with us one time too. And remember
what?
the Lakers going, "Oh, Taylor, he sucks. Trade him, draft capital." I was watching him. He was on my team, so he gave me a couple passes, but then we kind of just said, "Here, let me set you a screen and get out the way." And Taylor is a freak. His jumper's looking good. He's got like a 6'9" wingspan. Like it gave me a idea of what it was like having to guard these NBA players. It's just impossible. When they want to go, you can just hope they miss.
And I mean, Horton Tucker, like I remember talking about him on the podcast. Like, you got to get rid of him. Like, no,
Yeah,
you keep him. He's a role player. And like,
yeah, he was at Iowa State.
yeah,
He's a freak. Horton Tucker's a freak. Parker's a freak. Same high school. There's so many good guys that maybe aren't like the first people you think of, but they humble you quickly as being how good you have to be a professional basketball player. So I've been honored to play with a handful of these guys around here.
I just love like, hey, you know what? You go cook. I'm gonna pass screen. Like that's how I play. Like I'm a facilitator. I'm gonna play great
That's right.
hustle. Like let the guys like yourself go off and get it. Um, That's awesome. I mean, you're playing with NBA caliber players. I mean, you're playing in all these leagues and whatnot. I know that one Chicago Rec League just posted a video, I think today or yesterday, about like the one team was talking trash right before the game and like calling you out and whatnot. So how has that YouTube process been? What, 2 years now?
It's about 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us just like lately, kind of the more with the YouTube channel.
Well, I'd say the YouTube channel has come along pretty well. It's really hard to get growth on YouTube for whatever reason. You have to either go viral or have to kind of get put on by a larger platform. So it's humbled me just to like consistently working on it, not spending too much time. Today, after 2 years, I finally made like a calendar on like my 5 days of whatever the work week. I'm gonna write down what I'll do for work and what I'll do social media wise because I have YouTube, TikTok, I even have Facebook. I have a Facebook page, and Instagram. So I made a schedule that I'm going to try to follow on when to post, so it's not just so hectic. Because at the end of the day, if you ask me how it's going, I'd say it's hectic because there's a lot to keep up with, and I have a lot of stuff.
And it's funny you say that is because you do want to be consistent. That's our motto here on the Make This podcast for season 4. While we're in our fourth season, is consistency is key, right? We're trying to stay consistent, right? So that people really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know on Monday nights it drops, or like if you're every other day, or 3 days a week, like oh, I know a G for 3 video is going to come out. But it is hard. Like when you're the solo dolo, like these bigger companies, they got those dude who get paid the big bucks to make those videos, right? All right, my
Mm-hmm.
day of work is all right. What did Jabari Parker send me today? All right, I got to make this video, right? But when you're trying to make it
Right.
yourself and myself, like you got to do all the recording, you got to do all the scheduling, you got to do all the editing. Dude, that takes
It's
a
a
lot of your
ton of
time
work.
for being a part-time gig. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not your full.
Totally.
So I totally relate to that. The hectic, the like trying to get everything, but hopefully that schedule does work well for you.
Yeah, and like hopefully with having a little break, I can kind of unplug for a little bit. And this is me, like week 2 now doing this, and I may have shot a basketball Saturday too. And it's like, I say I'm going to take a break, but it's hard to do so. So starting now, I'm taking a break.
Yeah, that's just the athlete. I think I share some of those same things. Is they say, "Oh, take a break," right? I had all these surgeries, and it's like I can't take a break. There's no way I can. I want to
It's just
get
what I
better,
do.
and that's what you get a ball in your hand. You're like, oh, snap! I gotta shoot this, right? Can't leave the gym without make. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get
Mm-hmm.
that. You kind of already went into the next question. It's funny that we already went about it, but like the whole YouTube, the hardest part has the hardest part of the channel been the consistency part or trying to the growth of the channel?
I'd say it's the consistency and the direction. I have branched off to so many different directions now that I'm trying to consolidate what my image is, where I think a lot of it is live gameplay. I think that's a big part of it. Whether that was 5-on-5 or 1-on-1. I might even be getting some 3-on-3 in August. So live gameplay, kind of attract the comedy with the frat boy team. That
I
one's
love that
always going to
personally.
have. I think that might be the best thing I have, to be honest. Like the frat boy is probably the most fun, and then narrating that, and then aside that, the tutorials. I'm trying to get more into the tutorial coaching part of it. I've thought about setting up like a shooting camp,
Okay.
doing that like for kids and trying to consolidate that and whatever an online platform looks like for that. Personally, I think there's a lot of online things on YouTube you can just look up. So the face value of it, I'd love to do a shooting camp, 1 or 2 this year. Um, yeah, so I'd say the consolidating of it is hard, and that's hopefully my next goal is to consolidate and just stay in shape in the meantime.
Gotcha. I know the big thing was a year ago was the OBL, which are they going to have an OBL season, another tournament like they did with Tracy McGrady?
I'd assume so at some point. There hasn't been a lot of direction on when that's going to be. And I'd say the reason for that is it was so popular
Yeah.
and so well funded, well produced last year. The rumors that a Showtime documentary is coming out on it sometime this summer. Someone from the grapevine told me July, so we'll see if that
Are you
comes
going to
out
be
or not.
featured in it? Like you got to be. You were there.
Yeah, I would be like probably one of the 5 most featured guys.
Dude, that's sweet at Showtime.
So
But
we'll have to see if that comes out in the timeline they say. But I think they're just waiting. They have a lot of things in the queue with the OBL, and because it did cost a lot of money and there was a lot of investment put into it, they're probably biding their time on season 2 because there's never a lack of basketball players.
Yeah. And I think that also the big thing with that is trying to find that direction again. It's like, all right, this was kind of a success, but how can we make more money, right? How can this investment?
Exactly.
I know Tracy McGrady probably doesn't want to make like a ton of money off this. He wants to see ballers go ball, but at the
Hmm.
same time, you don't want to be just throwing all your money away to go watch these people. So I kind of get that.
Exactly. That's the challenge with really any sport, whether it's rec, youth, pro, is how much money do you spend on it? And I struggle with that sometimes too, where there's a lot of like, money tournaments, corporate events, contests. And it's like, how much money am I going to put down to do this without any return? Where the return is whatever, it's the video or it's just the experience for me. It's like I've kind of just been more selective. Like, okay, these are my two. I have two things this summer that I'm investing time and money into, and then I'm chilling on the rest.
Yeah, and it is just so hard because like when you're not constantly bringing in those funds from it, it
Right.
is hard to figure out where to go and whatnot. And like that shooting
Mm-hmm.
camp could be, a way to do it. Maybe it's $5, maybe it's for free just to get your name out there. I mean, there's 100,
Right.
1,000 ways to skin the cat. So the
Totally.
the big thing is just trying to figure out how or what or all right, those are those two big things. Let's put that money and let's go get after it. So I hear you on that.
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge. So, uh, to be determined. It's a good question.
Gotcha. So to be determined. Love to hear it. I do see. Is that the merch shirt you got on right there?
It is, but believe it or not, this is probably never going to get released. I
Ugh.
redid my whole plan on that, so we haven't received that yet. That's why. I'm just going with a more simple design, and I'm going to go stick with cotton. The dry fit one was honestly not very durable. So for me, I'm not a cash cow. I'm not looking to just exploit dollars. I want value. I want real people to like go, oh, this is nice, or I would rock this, or I'd get this for a friend. Not, oh, he just tried to make some money off me. So that's the difference between me and maybe
Ooh.
some of the other guys that are looking for this to pay bills.
Yeah, you kind of want for that shirt to rock it. I know I'll be the first in line when you do have the big merch drop. But
Absolutely will.
oh yeah. Uh and that is the thing too, like here on the podcast, myself and Yank, we've really tried, like, do we want to go that route? And like, all right, we gotta be more
Mm-hmm.
consistent. We gotta get more of that following, right? And we've already been stating here on this interview, like, it's dang hard to get that, like however much you want to promote and whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
you do just sometimes have to get lucky and watch the videos, especially those
Totally.
shorts are what really get a lot of views. And that's kind of what makes
Agreed.
a little bit happy.
And there's so many people doing it. Even in my lane now, there's a lot of people doing YouTube based basketball. So I've really just tried to stay local because what do I have that other people don't is I live in Chicago and there's not really anyone in Chicago doing this.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. This is the clip that you take out. I was first in Chicago. No one else has come here. Everyone's copying me. All of a sudden, everyone's making basketball reels, which is dope. It's great basketball content and anything aside like mixtapes, which everyone always made mixtapes, but no one was making content before me. So I'm the originator here in Chicago.
Boom, the
Boom.
originator. We're
I'm
cutting
the
it. We're gonna put
originator.
it out there. Heck
Tag
yeah.
me.
Mike
Tag me.
drop.
I'm the originator here.
The originator of Chicago YouTube basketball. You heard it here first.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I mean, speaking of those videos, what is one of your best videos you thought like got the most views? What was the most successful one? So maybe people can go back and look at it.
So I have two, and they're both very different dynamics. I started reposting some old ones just because I was so brand when I
Yeah.
put them out. So my best video ever is still my day one OBL video, where I put like no one thought I'd win a game, and then I did this, something like that.
Yeah.
So that one's my best video. And my second best video was I took like this like all star team to LA Fitness, which I never played LA Fitness, but that was just where I was able to get guys in for free. Um, and we played some guy that just was so razzled by cameras and attention that like he tried to like fight every player in the
Like
gym,
I
like
remember that.
righteously. I think he had a reason to have something bad happen to him, but of course we didn't do anything. But it was like so ridiculous that it was like you almost had to watch it to believe it. So I'd say those are my two most interesting videos, and one is like corporate type of basketball that I'm trying to promote, and the other thing is something I never would promote typically, but it was so crazy I had to post it.
That is, and I think I remember us talking about it in one of the interviews, like, oh, guy tries to fight during basketball game, but like that's easy clickbait. That's easy ways people are gonna go see.
Right. It was really true though. Like that was it was like and it wasn't clickbait like most of them are.
Yeah. It's them just scuffling, get in front of each other, and then walking away, but yours. Uh
Right.
No, it's funny. It's just, I remember watching those videos, and I loved watching the OBL experience of what you did go through. Those are some of my favorites, as well. I think it's on one of the clips. It's like you pump fake, the guy flies right past you, you just shoot the three, and it was like splash from the corner. It was awesome. But going into the best video, what is the hardest competition? I mean, you said you went against NBA guys, so that might take the crown here for this question.
It
But
might. I guess you could say on camera.
yeah,
We
on
could do that
camera, who is
on
the hardest
camera.
competition?
Hmm. I guess that game in Vegas that I played in was the hardest. It wasn't the hardest player, but the atmosphere was the hardest. The guy I was playing against was a veteran around one-on-one for probably 20 years. He played with Kevin Durant at Rucker Park when he scored like 60 points. Like he was on that team. He didn't, hardly to shoot the ball, but he was out there with KD. So he was kind of a street ball legend. Knew one-on-one, and it wasn't really him. It was that I'm in a full arena in Vegas, 1,000 people or so courtside watching, and as loud as it was quiet. So like I could hear courtside. I had one person yelling here, big giant drone camera flying around above my head. You can talk about Mount Vernon and Cornell College, where we maybe would have 15 fans in the stands sometimes. And here I am in an arena that the G League Ignite plays in, playing one-on-one with all the lights on, all the cameras. And it was just a different experience for me. Like we weren't trained for that kind of stuff as much as like I was ready to roll and I played and I did well. That was the hardest game because like immediately I was exhausted. I think just the lead up, the pressure, the attention that like it kind of takes the air out of you a little bit. And there wasn't time to catch my second win because I only had one guaranteed game. So I'd say that was the hardest game. But now that I've done that once, like I'm so excited to get another chance to play there and anywhere else where I can do a kind of a live action one-on-one because I know what to expect now. But that was definitely the hardest, the Vegas game.
It's funny that you say that is because so many people are to go judge, wow, this person cracked under pressure. Like, first of all, I just watched the PGA the Open. Like, how nerve-wracking would it be? Everyone's eyes are on you, and like you're swinging a golf club, like that is a lot of pressure. TV's on you. You talk about, and then one-on-one, right? First of all, you're the only person. Like when you're in the NBA, like you can kind of slack off. Everyone's not watching you unless you're one of the top dogs, right? So you can take plays off, but on one-on-one, you're constantly working, you're constantly moving. It is tiring. I mean, I play one-on-one a lot of the times too, and it's tiring. And now you added the pressure that everyone's watching you. Money's on the line. You're gonna sit in the big chair. Every single person is watching exactly what's going on. So like, yeah,
you got 250,000 on the line. Like, come on, man. This is like this is a true fairy tale because it's like who would have ever thought someone that a school like ours is playing for this type of money against guys like this that have been around this type of big environment. I was definitely the biggest outlier there.
Yeah, your biggest game was Co versus Cornell, where we TP the court, after the first basket. That was the biggest crowd. Everyone got crazy. Like you said, 15 fans. I was the one in the front row hyping it all up, watching you go off, watching Corey Davis go dunk the basketball, right? Like
we had what, maybe 300 fans? Maybe.
That might be like the max out. But like, and then you compare that to this huge stage, and you talked about the guy you did lose to. He played with KD at Rucker Park. Like, that alone,
he's been around. He's been around.
And, that's crazy. And didn't that guy go get second in that tournament?
He actually beat me by a basket. I lost 6-5 by the time limit. Then he went on and upset the number one guy from New York who was 10-0 going into it. So he upset him and then lost to my other Chicago guy, like 9-3. So like he kind of ran out of gas, but he pulled off two, I guess you can call them upsets.
Well, I mean, without a doubt,
I think he wasn't favored in either game.
No, and like you had the height on him as well, and then he goes upsets the number one. Like, dude was legit, and that's one of those things. Like, we lost, but we lost to a guy who went on to go upset.
That's a good. He's an older guy. He's been around for a long time. He's not. It's like 6'2", not super assuming, but he understands the game. He won Magic Johnson's first one-on-one on MTV.
Wow.
It was like fight ball or something. Like they were beating the hell out of each other. But he won that too. He won like $100,000 in that. So it kind of put him on. So it was, in a way, it was cool because like it was kind of like old school versus new school. So I think in like 5-6 years from now, we'll look back and be like, it's cool if they played each other then because, hopefully I'm in a situation where I'm better than I am right now.
Yeah, and I really hope so. I mean, we'll be following that if it ever does happen. Obviously, that's a big goal. And now you're talking about goals for your basketball career. And yeah, new school to old school. But are you going to solely stay on the YouTube, go to the 101s, run it up? Are you going to try to G League? Are you going to try to do like walk-ons there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the second time I've had that question this
Oh,
week. So
snap.
it kind of, I was fortunate enough on top of course, this is my priority podcast. I was on the radio station here in Chicago, an AM sports station, Friday night AM sports. You wouldn't think it's a good time to listen, but actually was. They had a ton of listeners. You can imagine like truckers, people driving home from
Yeah.
weekend trips, and WVON. It was an AM radio station, and one of my buddies here is like the mixer man there. So I got on there, and that's the first thing they're asking. What about overseas? What about G League? And I told them, well, I did try out for the Windy City Bulls in 2018 when I was fresh out of college and in shape and played pretty well, but didn't make it. And they're like, well, why don't you do that now? And my question was, it's not that I wouldn't do it, was what is the different motivator to do it then than now? Unless someone's approaching me with an opportunity to learn more or really get in there, I feel like I'd just be in the same boat as I was then with a little more credentials now, but really not much different. So I'm not sure if that's like the correct way for me to pursue professional basketball. I feel like I would look into it if the right offer came to me. And generally, if you're good enough, they say they'll find you. So I feel like if I didn't go all in on the social media stuff like this, I wouldn't have had the visible basketball success because I did pursue a professional career and it just didn't happen for me, honestly.
Yeah, awesome that you shouted out that radio station. That's super cool. I always love listening to those things and what people post about this and that. So I'll have to go check that out and give that a listen. I'll make sure I get all the details. We'll give them the whole headline down there. But that's really cool, and that does take a lot of realization to be like, the pros might happen. Like if they come to me with a great offer, I'm not going to say no. But you're
Of
not
course.
set out pursuing it. That's not the end goal. The end goal is to work on the social media, to grow your basketball, to become the best basketball player you possibly can, and go win
Mm-hmm.
games and be a big time baller, right? So I really like that. That's humbling as can be, dude. That's crazy. Like we talk about with the type of person that you are and type of baller that you are, that answers it right there, which is super awesome. Uh, but it's crazy. And it does make sense trying to, what is the difference? Yeah, you have the credentials now, but you're still going to go out. And if I do make it, if I don't, then we're back in the
Be a
same
minnow
spot.
in the pond. And it's like, why do I, oh, yeah, you guys are telling me I should go now. And like, in a way, I'm like, for what? Like I thought I was good enough back then. Was I? Maybe not. But the same level, I watched a couple of G League games this year and I watched some like overseas ball. And I'm like, as a rotational player at minimum, God, I'd be a great 12th man. Great. Now that Phoenix is out of all that cap money, I'm ready to go. Now that's the one I'm going to. I'm don't talk about the G League. Talking about the Suns because the Suns essentially I saw some YouTuber said that they got to hire plumbers, roster full of plumbers because that cap hits so high that they don't have any money left. So I told them I'll take a measly 500,000. It's less than the veteran minimum. And you have a rotational wing that won't dribble the ball, will play defense, and just shoot threes.
I mean, in all grand schemes of things, too, that's exactly what the Suns need. I mean, I love this
Let's
transition because
let's put it out there. Let's put it out there. I'm available for Phoenix. I don't remember what their new GM's name is, and I will take a
Ish.
very, very low contract.
Okay, so we're getting G for 3 into the
Yep,
Phoenix Suns arena and giving him a jersey, and he will sign for below the vet minimum. I mean,
yep.
come on now.
I'll take a very low contract. I'll even fly myself out there for the workout.
He said, I'll fly myself, I'll drive
Put it
myself.
out there. I'll do it.
Boom. This
That's the one.
we're
That's the
that
one. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
and but like that's the thing too, is if you are the Phoenix Suns, you're in trouble a little bit. Yeah, you got your big three, your big four with DeAndre Ayton, if you want to consider him a superstar. A lot of people don't. I love him because he's more of an old-fashioned center. But what are they gonna do with they? I mean, they still got Cameron Payne, which will be nice, but at the same time, your buddy's right from the other YouTube or whatever. They're gonna be hiring plumbers. Like, who are they gonna
Plumbers.
have? Like, are you gonna go get? I don't even know the vets that don't even have a job right now in the NBA. Go pick up Jeremy Lin, right? Are they going to go get Dylan Brooks? I know Dylan Brooks is
I have
waiting
no
on the
idea.
job.
I have no idea. Yeah, Dylan Brooks is going to command more than $800,000. I hope.
Which, I mean, that's the thing too with him. That's a whole nother
I think it'd be
story.
interesting though to see if they would just go all in on just like finding cheap talent, and if it ended up being like those guys from Miami that just had those breakout seasons, they were probably minimum players at one point. So,
Oh, without a doubt.
maybe this is a way to pull in some guys that the NBA gave up on, like go get Dwight Howard. Why wouldn't you?
And he's been chirping at it. He wants another shot at it. And I mean, Dwight Howard wasn't
Cousins,
bad when he played for the Lakers.
no, none of these guys were. It's the NBA is a weird place, and for my conversations with guys here, is they say the same thing. It's like it's a business, and it's a business that is very opinionated.
Dude, I mean, I'm actually loving this NBA talk because you're so right. I'm looking at all these mock drafts. I am stoked for it. And everyone talk about Wembanyama, which we can maybe talk about in a little bit. But like, I'm seeing
Yep,
these guys going top 5 or top 10, and they're averaging 5 and 5, 5 rebounds,
they're
5 points.
total risks.
That's what I'm
Chicago
saying.
Bulls fan, hurting Chicago Bulls fan. Patrick Williams has not been the answer. He went
No.
number 4. I don't know who we passed on. It was all potential, all potential. He's essentially a DeRozan Walmart version, and we still have DeRozan. We still pay him. And I talked about this on this radio network. It's like, what's DeRozan's value when he ages? Nothing. And so then play this young guy, and you're just going to keep him as like just a plug and play guy. Then what? You're going to pay him? No, you're not going to pay him. Like the way that these teams try to steal talent and groom them for the future is just confusing to me. Get who you know you need.
And and also the Bulls, I am a huge big baller brand, and seeing Lonzo never being able to play again, like that's got to hurt your soul. You're just paying this man to, and he has
Miserable.
this freak knee injury. I don't even know. Like he's got to be
Right.
out the door too. So you're out that point guard, and they do have a lot
I,
of
I'd
work.
I'd be happier holding on to him, just hoping he comes back in a year, as opposed to these guys that we have that we just know aren't going to be good and then have pending contracts.
And that's the thing too is, how much are they going to get paid? But then you look at the Miami Heat, they did it right. They have their 2 big time superstars, which you can't win it when you don't have the dude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A Kawhi Leonard, a Jokic at this point. But they got Bam and they
Yep.
got Jimmy, and Jimmy kind of fell off at the end. But they had the dudes that had their games, right? And I'm a
Yep.
Celtics fan, and we lost to Caleb Martin. Like, he's not getting a big
Yep.
time contract anytime soon, but he's still a good baller. He's still a fantastic NBA player, right?
Max Strus is from around here.
Max Strus.
Max Strus is from here, and Duncan Robinson started a Division III school and had like a average career at Michigan.
Exactly, like average D3, right? They went and got these dudes who are legit playing for a contract, who are just trying to stay in uniform. I bet you they keep half that squad for next year because they went and did big things. Gabe Vincent, Struess,
Another guy
Caleb
going to get
Martin,
paid. It's
like
crazy.
Duncan. Like all 4 of those are going to stay, and they're probably going to take lower than some big time athlete that could potentially get hurt. Those 4 dudes, like any one of them can go off, and we saw the success in that. But now the Suns, I'm going back to our original NBA talk. Are they going to be
We'll
able?
see. Yeah. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I can't believe they did another big 3. I think of the 3 players they could have got, I don't know why they don't get like Siakam. I think he would have fit their team a little better. Getting Beal, which is basically Booker again, it's like, I don't get it. Oh, well, they must have something else planned.
All right, Grant. Is the era of super teams over? This has been a common debate I've been hearing and
Well,
listening.
it was until yesterday, apparently.
And oh my goodness, you just look at it and it didn't work for Brooklyn, right? Lakers, it didn't really work as much when they had Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron. You look at even like the Clippers, I know they kind of only have like a big 2, but they've been hurt this and that. But you look at teams who actually fully developed their players, and you got to understand the Denver Nuggets also had Aaron Gordon, who Aaron Gordon was the number 1 for Orlando for a long time. I mean, 2-3 years, like he was the dude, and now he gets to sit back behind Jamal Murray and Jokic, who Jokic they drafted, Michael Porter Jr. they drafted.
Oh,
So
he looked great. Gordon's got size, and like that's another dude that just kind of came on in the right situation. And I think it's you got to find your alpha, and you got to build around your alpha. That seems to be the way. That's how Jordan did it. That's how all these guys did it. And then you end up with Hall of Famers where guys maybe weren't going to be Hall of Famers. I don't know if I don't know if Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman were going to be for sure Hall of Famers until they got around the alphas.
100%. You are so
Ben
right.
Wallace, same thing.
Draymond Green, where's he gonna go? Like, I don't know a GM or a coach that would take him. Like, all right, Draymond, you're gonna be our number 2 guy. Like, come alongside of.
It's going to be really interesting. I think the NBA lost a lot of fans over the 2021-2020 season, and then they gained them all back this playoffs because it was really good.
And just the upsets and the great games. There are so many great games, and
That Sacramento series was good. I mean, it was a hell of a playoff. I really have no complaints about the NBA this year.
yeah, I think any NBA fan, because your common person didn't win it, but now the Nuggets are starting their dynasty. It's new talk, it's new threads, it's new social media, new people, new superstars. Obviously, that's great, and that's what you want to see. That's going to draw them back in. Like, oh, what's this Jokic guy really all about? Oh, this Heat, like they really made it what they're all about. So no, that's awesome. I love our impromptu
Totally
NBA
that.
talk. I need that, man. I love the NBA. I absolutely do. Love watching it, and I'll even watch it throughout the regular season. I've got to that age of my life, I guess, where I watch regular season games throughout the week
Well, you're gonna
after
have a lot of
football.
time at home coming up soon.
Oh,
So
I know. Yeah, I would have.
actually, football time is gonna be your best time. You can be like rocking the baby, watching the football. Like, okay, let's go, guys. All right, come on.
Yep, come on. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching film, digesting film with making me have to sit down. That's awesome. Uh, Grant, this has been awesome. Like I said, you're one of our most exciting guests to come here on the Make It Zizzy podcast. We've been highlighting each other's careers and just platforms that we love doing, and that's what we're here to do. But you know, we've always kind of hinted at it. But when are we gonna put on a tournament together? The Mickey Zizzy G for 3 tournament. Where would we do this? How would we do this? This is my last question, a more fun one. Like, in a crazy world, or if this actually happens, where and
Mhm.
what would we do off the top of your head?
Good question. I think we'd go home to the motherland. I'd come back out west. I wonder if you could do like a 2-on-2, or you could do.
Ooh.
I don't really know if guys get in 1-on-1 out by you guys. I think a lot of people are really good at 3-on-3. I could see that.
So a
A lot
three
of
on
lot
three tournament,
a lot of buddies can get their people out there.
and it's not getting a full
Um,
5 either. Like
or
that's
you could do a 3-point contest. I bet people would do that.
I got
I
some
bet
buddies.
a three
Yeah,
point contest would be pretty. You'd get some old barn shooters out there that just can ring up threes on a real goofy looking side rim, and they're making 10 out of 10. I think that could work.
man,
I think that could work too.
that's what you'd have to do. We'd have to do a whole weekend. We'd go to the park and boom, a whole
It's
Saturday.
definitely doable. I think we're maybe a year away from really
Year
like
away. There you
playing,
go.
because the problem is by the time I get done with stuff, it's gonna be the fall.
Yep.
And then either the kids are going back to school. You could always do something cool in Iowa City just based on how many people are there. But aside that, you're not really going to go to any of the college towns. I don't think there's enough foot traffic
Yeah, and
aside there.
we tell our alma mater, Cornell College, with the whole brand new facility, like, hey, we're coming to town. We're gonna put on an event for the community of Mount Vernon and surrounding areas. 3-point contest and 3-on-3. Oh, that's awesome.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. I haven't heard much from our alma mater lately. I don't know. I haven't. I'm surprised they haven't been a little more engaging with their new facility.
No, yeah, when you do come back out, I don't know if you've seen it. It's top of the line, dude. I mean, and of course we had the old rugged, the lockers were barely opened, and you walk in and there's
Let's just say
floor
it's the gym
crack.
we built. Without us, this gym would never have been possible.
Uh, yes, you heard it here. Those
Without it, it'd
specifically,
never be possible.
we built it, and now others get to uh
Shout
thrive.
out to Carrie. Shout out to Carrie behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, carry call. No, that's awesome. So maybe in the future, y'all be looking out. But if anything, go check out G for 3. It's some awesome videos. Go check it out. Share it to your friends if you just want to see a big time baller and just what it's like to play basketball in Chicago in 1-on-1 and leagues. It's truly awesome, and that's stuff that I definitely like watching, and I will continue to watch. But I'm telling y'all right now, go check out G for 3. It's electric. It's pretty sweet. But any last questions from you before we sign off here on the McKinsey podcast?
What are your thoughts on your Hawkeye basketball team this
I
year?
know I'm rocking like all the hot gear right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I mean, looking in, you're gonna losing Felipe, losing Connor. Patrick's coming back. I think Peyton Sanford. I want to get him on, but like me and my buddy, like we had a love hate relationship with him because he was really really bad in the beginning. He didn't make a three in the Big Ten games, and then he really took off. And if he can play like that and be that electric spark, that'll be fun to watch. I know they just got some big time center, which is how Iowa basketball is run. They have a big dude in the middle and let the other shooters go shoot. And they got some pretty quick freshmen coming in from what I've been hearing. So I think they're still going
So
to be.
here's the interesting story about Iowa basketball, and I talked about this the other day too. Is that the high school scene that you're aware of? I don't know what it is. The high school kids, they just don't really grind like we did for whatever reason. There's just not that same hunger. So the inner city of Chicago did not win any state titles in the two largest divisions.
Wow.
And the largest division lost to a school in Moline. Moline won the state championship in Illinois high school basketball. And they had a point guard and a big man, and they both committed to Iowa.
Oh, snap.
So I was like amazed that I'd been repping this Chicago basketball so hard. And they get smoked by two kids from the Quad Cities. One of them was Mr. Basketball. Two white guys, big man and the guard, Stockton Malone style, and they're going to Iowa. I was like, wow, that is like the biggest kick in the face ever. That you got dusted by the Quad Cities, which is basically Iowa. And they're going to Iowa and they won in Illinois. It's like the culture shock is crazy, the game doesn't change, the players do. So it was an impressive story that I thought I'd share with you.
No, that's awesome. I think actually one of them, I want to say, no, he's from Iowa. But the crazy part is about that is that's how Iowa runs. Like, they're not here for the flashy guys. They're trying to get these huge NIL deals. They're like, hey, you're going to go grit and grind and go beat good
It's
teams.
crazy.
That's exactly what they did. So
NIL is insane.
that's a whole nother day, a whole nother story. But anything else before we sign off here?
I'm doing another one-on-one challenge July 15th in
Boom.
Jacksonville, Florida. So I booked my
Gotcha.
ticket the other day. Let's hope I have a hand by then. I'm playing in a similar kind of environment for $5,000. I think it's $5,000.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Go check it
Single
out.
elimination. So that's my drop. I'm playing July 15th.
July 15th.
That's all I got.
And that's all we got here on the Mickey Zizzy podcast. Thank you all for listening. And G for 3 and Mickey are peacing out. Peace.